Snake's always been a highly discussed character. I often hear him dubbed as the first DLC character due to his unorthodox kit compared to the rest of the cast. Since his inception into Smash Ultimate, opinions have massively varied about where he's been placed on the tier list, and how well he does versus the current meta. So, yeah, I'm back once again with another character retrospective, analysing Snake from where he was in the meta at the start of Smash Ultimate to where he is now. But first, let's have a little history lesson. Typically, in these sections, I cover how characters were in Smash 4 prior to their Ultimate iterations. But, as we all know, he wasn't in that game, so time to dust off the old Wii. Snake was considered to be a top tier throughout Brawl's lifetime. A big reason for this was due to how strong his damage output was, as well as how good he was at stage control. Snake had an abundance of fast startup moves, all with great distance, and they were easy to rack up damage with. Like, I don't know what Sakurai and his band of merry men were thinking when they designed this abomination of a move. He also had great tools to help him maintain stage control. With his down smash being a landmine, and access to C4 and grenades, it was very difficult to get in against him. Snake was designed to be a pretty immobile character, but due to the help of a tech known as Dacus, or Dash Attack Cancel Up Smash, he had access to a fast movement option that flung him across the stage at high speed. And he was also the third heaviest in the game, so had brilliant survivability. However, as time went on, people started to realise how vulnerable he was to juggling and how gimpable his recovery was, which placed him as the 6th best character on the final Brawl tier list. Fast forward to 2018 and Snake was back. Upon the release of Ultimate, Snake maintained a lot of aspects which made him a strong character in Brawl. Big, fast hitboxes, great options to maintain stage control, one of, if not the best edgeguarding tool in the game with Nikita. People were quick to solidify Snake as one of the best characters in the game, due to his strengths and he seemingly had little counterplay. This was backed by multiple strong results from Snake players, both at mid-level and at top level, with him having the 2nd highest representation out of any character by the middle of 2019. This perception on Snake would quickly change towards the latter end of 2019. As the meta developed, people started understanding the counterplay on how to deal with Snake, specifically his disadvantage state. Pair this counterplay development alongside his declining results, and people were less convinced about how good the character actually was. Still strong, not quite the top tier we initially thought he was. The COVID pandemic hit. During this time, Snake only received fixes in patch 7.0.0 and has been unchanged since. During lockdown and following it, people's perception on Snake remained relatively similar to what it was towards the end of 2019. A solid top tier character. There were still strong Snake players post-lockdown, such as Apollo Kage, Alandis, and Dio, but Snake was still not seeing the highs he once did during the early metagame. This landed him as 15 on the first Smash Ultimate tier list, which was towards the bottom end of top tier. However, during 2023, we saw one player who really started to put Snake back on the map. Hurt. Hurt was one of the biggest breakout players during 2023, and started placing highly at large-scale tournaments across Japan with Snake. His defensive game, alongside his explosive advantage, really started to show how polarising Snake still was and how much more development his meta still had. With Hurt placing solidly in Japan and Apollo Kage collecting an abundance of strong wins in North America, people's perception on Snake was swayed again, and maybe Snake hadn't had as much of a drop-off as we'd initially thought. But why is this? Why has there been a bit of a resurgence of Snake, especially since it's had little to no changes to his kit in various patches? One of the biggest reasons is that the meta has massively shifted to be more campy, which heavily favours Snake's playstyle. Snake is reliant on patient play, and he has access to one of the best projectiles in the game, Grenade. Grenade is a very versatile move, as Snake can either throw them instantly or cook them. This can create an uninteractive game plan, as Snake has a quick projectile with varying timers, which typically forces a defensive option from an opponent. And once it explodes, he's probably just going to launch another one. If the explosion forces a defensive option or just hits them, it's a great opportunity for him to close space and gain advantage. Oh yeah, grenades come out frame 1 too, making them an excellent combo breaker tool. Using a move as a combo breaker where you take damage sounds pretty counterintuitive, but Snake is heavier than the majority of the cast, so typically taking these trades can often be in his favour, as he can force a neutral reset or just put the character above him, which is really not ideal for the opponent. Just as an additional note, his heavy weight also contributes to his survivability, and you can't underestimate how important this is for him when he can typically avoid integral game states such as ledge. Let's also not forget about this fun little tool, C4. Just another thing Snake can freely place in neutral and manually explode, further assisting in his already strong stage control game. On top of this, he also has access to some very fast and strong normals. Whilst down tilt is frame 6 and has its uses in some matchups, it's forward tilt and up tilt which are his two standout moves. Forward tilt comes out on frame 4, so it's a fantastic move to check opponents' reactions. and it can combo out of a throw. And up tilt, I don't know what Sakurai and his band of merry men were thinking when they designed this abomination of a move. Yeah, it comes out on frame 6, has a huge hitbox, making it insane for catching landings, can tech chase, can be used in the kill confirm. It might just be one of the best moves in the game, yet Sakurai thought his up smash was the problem. His dash attack is also great as either a burst option or a whiff punish tool. It's fast, intangible, and ambiguously crosses up. So it's great for catching out approaches, and can even be used as a solid anti-air. So, his polarizing stage control game, alongside his strong normals and dash attack, really benefits Snake, as he can play patiently to condition his opponent and get a really high reward. For example, grenades and C4 can threaten a defensive option. Snake reads it, which either secures him a kill or enables him to push his advantage even further. His other tools, such as Nikita being a strong edge guarding tool, and his lingering aerials for extra pressure, are just a cherry on top of this already insane character. Also, as a handy tip from me to you, his strengths absolutely excel on Pokemon Stadium 2. So, just never give him the opportunity to go there. Just, trust me on that. So, after all of that, does Snake actually have any flaws? Yeah, a fair few. One of Snake's main weaknesses is his mid-range. Snake will typically either be camping with grenades at a long distance, or dealing with opponents in close quarters. Characters that can threaten his mid-range, whether that be with other projectiles or good airspeed, can create some pretty uncomfortable situations for Snake. Due to this, he might be forced to rely on something more committal in order to relieve himself from these situations, which can be pretty risky and make him pretty susceptible to baits. His disadvantage often gets criticised as well, and for good reason. Cypher's linearity makes him easy to edgeguard horizontally due to how predictable the recovery pattern is. He's also encouraged to land on stage with grenades in hand to help him mix up his recovery. Whilst grenades in hand is useful to escape combos, it can sometimes be problematic when landing, as if a grenade explodes when you're at high percent, it could put you in an even worse spot and you're still stuck in disadvantage. He's also big, heavy, and lacks mobility, making him easy to keep in disadvantage if you know how to work around grenades. These flaws are pretty significant for Snake in some matchups, but his pros really do outweigh his cons. And despite the discrepancy of how good he actually is, he's remained as one of the most popular characters at all levels of play, really highlighting how strong he's been throughout the various meta changes. So, let's move on to matchups. Snake seemingly does great versus a lot of the cast, with strong matchups against a good chunk of the mid to lower end of the tier list. He does well versus some of the upper echelon of characters too. Bayonetta, Corrin, Roy, and Pac-Man are just to name a few. In these matchups, his campy playstyle really does shine, and grenades are extremely handy due to how combo heavy each character is. It's worth noting that he does have a lot of even matchups versus characters in top tier. However, an abundance of even matchups is perfectly fine, as you know, they're not exactly losing. While Snake doesn't have too many iffy matchups, the ones he does have give him a lot of issues. It's usually agreed upon that the super fighting robot himself, Mega Man, makes Snake's life a living hell. He's seemingly been designed to purely counter Snake. Mega Man's kit allows him to play at mid-range, where Snake is weakest. His pellets interrupt Snake's campy game plan, as they can blow up grenades as he pulls them, and also interrupts them as Snake throws them towards him. Mega Man also has access to other strong projectiles, like Metal Blade and Leaf Shield. Yeah, Snake just can't play his traditional game plan in this matchup, and doesn't really have any answers to how to counter Mega Man. Many Snake players seemingly agree that Mii Gunner and Min Min are also difficult to deal with, as similar to Mega Man, can both play at mid-range and interrupt his campy game plan. Another character Snake has trouble with is Falco, as his laser and frame run reflector are strong tools to deal with his grenade camping. Additionally, when he recovers high, Falco's double jump height can really threaten and chase Snake, and also Snake's size and weight make him easy to combo. So after discussing all of this, I think we're correct in thinking that we were wrong about Snake following the pandemic. After the pandemic, people's perception on Snake had dropped, and he had moved down to the bottom end of top tier on the first official Smash Ultimate tier list in early 2023, and was seemingly falling out of the meta. But as Smash Ultimate's meta started to settle, he rose to prominence once more. He currently sits as the 4th best character in the game. Snake's unorthodox kit really is a testament to how versatile the character can be, despite all the meta changes. He remained as a top tier throughout Ultimate's lifespan with nearly no changes. With Snake finally winning his first major post-COVID, advancements in his metagame and strong matchup spread, will perception of Snake change once again? I guess only time will tell.